All right, Alyssa, we are back with a boss script. That music always reminds me of like an old-timey TV commercial. Like,
tried and true.
Yes. Baking soda. It cleans everything. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Well, that's our boss script
much
music.
like our boss scripts.
That's right.
These are really valuable, timeless things that will absolutely be keepers.
And so we hope that you take these boss scripts and you try to use them. Like if you will remember them and they will become a part of your boss toolkit, your boss utility belt, only if you use them, right? So jot this down on a Post-it note, stick it up somewhere where you can see it, and try to use it this week in an interaction you have with an individual or at a meeting. Your boss script this week is, and what else? And it's the Swiss Army knife of coaching questions, right? You can use it in so many different places. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone and they're telling you that they're feeling frustrated and they're feeling angry, and you do a good job in that moment of saying, okay, what I hear you saying is you feel frustrated and angry. That must be hard. I can understand why you might feel that way. And what else? It's a next level probe. It's a chance for you to uncover some things that maybe would be left unsaid, because sometimes we move on to the next thing, right? Let's try to fix it, or let's process it together. And that's good. We should do those things, but only after we've uncovered the roots of the problem and the deeper stuff that sometimes lives under the surface. Imagine you're at a staff meeting or a huddle and you're asking people for ideas or to talk through a problem. And the first one or two people volunteer some ideas, and then we're off and running into that problem solving. Sometimes as a leader, we have to bring it out back and say, and what else? And what else? If you're giving people a voice to their complaints, if you're sourcing ideas, if you're wrapping up a meeting and everybody's getting ready to leave, but you stop at the end and you say, hold on, what else? It's such a powerful tool. And I want to give credit where it's credit due. This is one of the key questions that Michael Bungay Stainer writes about in his book, The Coaching Habit. And so it is a powerful tool in his toolkit. That's where I first encountered this, and it's absolutely worthy of including on your coaching utility belt. I know you use this one a lot, Alyssa. What are your favorite circumstances in which to use? And what else? And why is it so important?
Well, it's like the silent scalpel. And I, whenever you said it, I didn't know which coach it was, but I was like, that's a coaching question.
Yeah.
So, but to me, this is like, whenever we talk about leaving the space for people to fill the silence, right? This part of this deep listening that we're trying to hold as leaders. This is like when the silence isn't working for somebody and they just trying to wait you out. Then you take the silent scalpel of, and what else? Right? So you always have one or two of those folks on your team that are kind of, you may brush it off at first glance as introversion, but if it's not in a group setting and you're trying to have it, especially in one-on-ones, to deepen that connection, to truly understand what's going on, what maybe is you're not aware of, that could help build a next level connection with that team member. And what else? I mean, I think you actually used this on me at the top of when we started recording, and I went into it doesn't take much for me to talk, but to something about my disillusionment and blah, blah, blah. And, trying to find my joy and still, not letting it escape me. This is like that underwater scuba diver going, okay, the water's all surrounding us, but what else? What else are we going for?
I like this especially because I think it in a lot of cases when we use it, it signals deep caring about the person that we're talking to. If you're trying to uncover frustrations or feelings and you use this after you've drawn out the initial surfacey stuff and you say, okay, and what else? And then you use it again and then you use it again. And they give you an answer and say, okay, what else? And it's not like how we deliver the question matters, because if it's slow and it's deliberate and we demonstrate with our body language that we are in no hurry and that our biggest priority in the moment is to be fully present with this person and to get it all out.
Yeah.
That becomes a really deeply caring experience, I think, for the employee. I also really like this when we are challenging people to come up with options. We love our coaching question. Well, what options do you see? Well, I guess I could try to handle it on my own. And what else? Yeah. So it forces you down the path of exploring some of those options and sparking some additional creativity or self-examination in the person across from you. So we can use it in the first way that I talked about, and it's a signal of deep caring, but we can use it in this other way, which doesn't let people off the hook. It's this kind of ninja-like accountability mechanism in the dialogue that we're having with people.
Yep. That's my deepness. Yes.
So are there other variations of this, Alyssa, that you might use in coaching conversations? So we've given them this BossScript and what else, which is really about uncovering and making sure that, if possible, we don't leave something unsaid. Are there other turns of phrase or questions that you like in your coaching interactions that do something similar?
Again, I called this the silence scalpel, but truly my go-to, because I could fill all the spaces with all of the words. But my go-to is to just hold the silence. Mm-hmm. So whenever you're talking about asking that question, then holding the silence, and then, mm-hmm. and what else? It's a beautiful composition and combination of coaching tools, holding eye contact, really feeling truly seen and heard. That's what this does.
I'm so glad you brought up the eye contact, because as I alluded to a minute ago, what people see on us, on our affect, on our face, in our body language, when we have these kinds of conversations, matter just as much as getting the question right. If we say, and what else? And it's rushed and it's hurried, and we're looking around and our phone's dinging and our email's popping up on our screen and we're glancing at the clock above the person, that sends every bit of information they need to know what your priority is in that moment. But if we are fully present in the moment with them and we're making that eye contact and we genuinely come to it with curiosity, I want to pull it all out, then we end up having much richer discussions. The other, I don't know if it's a variation of this, but one of the first boss scripts we gave on our podcast here many episodes ago was, tell me more about that. And I think you can use that kind of in place of this, though they don't do the same thing, right? Tell me more about that is about drilling down on a single idea, maybe that somebody just said. Right. Whereas and what else asks for the other stuff that lives around it, right? Maybe what else is on your list. Sometimes and what else is a little injection of courage or bravery, right? Because maybe I'm going to tell you what's bothering me, but I'm not going to give you the whole story. And I'm just going to talk about it at the kind of surfacey level. But then you keep saying, and what else? And I'm seeing that you are entirely comfortable with what I'm saying. I'm seeing that you care about pulling it out. And I have to work up to it. And you're creating a safe place for me to do that by continuing to ask, and what else, and what else, and what else. So maybe it's going to take 10 minutes of and what else's for me to get to the real thing that's buried deep that I'm going to pull out. And by asking and what else over and over and over again, you're actually creating that safe environment for that conversation to happen that would never have taken place if we had an and what else 1, 2, 3, 5 times.
Absolutely.
And that's your boss script, friends.